My name is Shouka, and I was born and raised in Iran. I moved here to the state. I moved to United States when I was 20. Went to college. Moved. I was based. I'm based in New York, and I lived in the city for about 10 years. My background is in sales management. However, now I'm shifting. I would like to get into more financial literacy and educating young adults on various subjects, mainly on financial literacy and mindset. With that said, if there is a time machine and we are in the movie Back to the Future and I can go back, I would tell my 17 years old to be very aware of the power of proximity. We are the people we surround ourselves with, so they can either lift us up or they can bring us down. And being very cautious about that. We always hear parents who talk to their children say, "You're not allowed to hang out with this person." Necessarily it's not about, that person we don't like them or like them. It's just that we want our children to learn great things, grow, within and also outside. So that's one thing I would tell her. So be careful who you surround yourself with. And I will also let her know I already did that and do it, but never stop growing. Never stop growing. And I would definitely let her know that you are not your past. And we are not our past. Our past does shape us, but does not define us, right? So a lot of we are going to have curving, what do you call it? I forgot the word. But we are going to have experiences, not failure. We're going to have experiences that we may not achieve what is it that we want to achieve. However, that doesn't define us. We just have to learn and move on and know that we're not our parents, we're not our past environment. We are just ourselves. We define who we are.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
consistent steps.
Yeah, definitely. I liked how you put it that it's not failures, it's experiences that we learn from. I think that is such an amazing way to put it. I feel like even though failure doesn't have to be negative, there's definitely that negative connotation. No matter how hard you try it, there's definitely that obviously negative connotation. But if you say, hey, it was just an experience and I'm learning from it and it wasn't what I exactly wanted, but I'm going to learn and I'm going to grow for the next time, I think that's an amazing way to put it.
Absolutely. I'm a huge believer in word diet. So I work very hard to eliminate certain words and certain sentences from my vocabulary. One being that failure. I like to
Yeah.
use learning curve, right?
Yeah.
Experience the learning curve. Not everything has to be, success, right? If we don't have that learning curve, then we're not going to see the success because without the light, there is no dark, right? Dark, there's no light. So it's always that contrast that we have
Definitely.
and we need to pay attention to.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think was an experience that you learned from that you still kind of practiced in your day to day life now?
That nobody owes me anything,
Mm.
right? Everything in life that is given to me, um, I must have a sense of gratitude because nobody owes me anything, nobody has to do anything, and nobody has to give me anything. And everything that everybody does for me and the universe gives me, there's no obligation on their part, right? That's just not having that sense of entitlement. The more we lean into gratitude and see the positive, the more we're going to attract of that positiveness. I'm a huge believer on where your focus goes, that energy flows. So the more we focus on what we have and the gratitudes and know that things are given out of kindness or nobody owes us anything, then the more we're going to receive.
Yeah, that's an amazing mindset. Definitely that abundance mindset I think is so powerful. mindset is everything and words are everything, and people don't really realize, they kind of underestimate that part, but there's no reason to. It drives like our entire lives, and that's what I believe, that what I say happens, and if I strongly believe in something, it'll happen. Negative or positive, I know that my thoughts and how I think shapes everything. Like if I think like, oh, this dinner is gonna taste horrible, and then the dinner tastes horrible, I'm like, I felt like coming.
Yes, absolutely. It's very, the word diet is so important because the more you tell yourself things, the more it's going to sit in your subconscious. So you're going to believe that, you don't know, you're just never going to know. That's as
Mhm.
easy. It's very simple. It's really not
Yeah.
that complicated. So
Mhm.
people think, oh, it's this huge, complicated thing. If I want to shift my life and shift my mindset, no, it
Yeah.
takes very little.
Yeah.
Don't say I don't know because you can go find out, right? Don't
Mhm.
say I can't because that's the limiting belief. Right away, you're blocking yourself from knowing, from doing. Just say
Mhm.
I'm in the process of doing it, or
Mhm.
let me find out the answer and I'll get back to you.
Yeah, that when I was younger, like really young, like I want to say like 8 years old, if my dad ever asked me a question, there was a strict rule in the house: you can't say I don't know at all. You had to be like, I'll go check for you, or let me go find the answer, or I don't know right now, or like something like that. But like I just saying I don't know never cut it for him,
Yeah.
and yeah, it really changes how I grew up. Especially, I used to work at a restaurant, so if someone asked me a question, I couldn't say I don't know. I'd say, "Oh, well, this," or "I'll go check with the manager," or something like that. So it was definitely that growing mindset is definitely shaping how I am now.
I mean, your dad has done a fabulous job. I mean, I mean, you guys, and I love what he has done. I love the whole mindset. I always talk about it, how he raised you guys, just
Thank
showing you
you.
guys how to, how to live life,
Mhm.
because our next generations, those jobs out there, the world is not going to be the same as we're living right now. The world is
Mhm.
going to change. So we just need to prepare the new generations for what is coming, not for what is.
Yeah, definitely. You mentioned a little bit about word diets and how you substitute words. What are some words that you do like to substitute and words people should cut out?
I think failure
Mhm.
is one of them, and substitute that with learning curves. I don't know. That's
Mhm.
one. I can't. That's another one. And of course, it's not that I don't use them at all. It's just
Yeah.
I'm aware. I'm aware that I am doing it, or
Mhm.
I am saying it. What else? I can't. I think those are my top three. And a
Mhm.
lot of the things also I say, oh, when we say I'm tired, instead of saying I'm tired, say my body is tired, or my body
Mm.
has a low energy right now. Because
Mhm.
when we're saying I'm tired, right away you're linking and defining yourself to that. You're linking yourself to that feeling. However, you're
Mhm.
not your body.
Yeah.
Body is part of it. It's a vessel
Mhm.
that's given to us,
Mhm.
but it's not who we are really. So
Yeah, exactly. I think I watched a video about this, like on psychology a little bit, and she was mentioning that if you say something like, "Oh, I'm sad," you feel like being sad is your identity. "Oh, I'm depressed, I'm anxious," and that sort of becomes your identity, but it's not. It's literally just a feeling you are experiencing, and it's not who you are as a person. So I think that's an amazing example that people say, "Oh, I'm tired." It's not like you yourself, it's your body. It's
yeah,
not your identity. It's not, "Oh, I'm just like, I don't identify as a tired person." It's just you're feeling tired.
you're just feeling tired.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's a huge thing, to just be careful. What are we linking ourselves to?
Mhm.
It's very important, especially I understand we do have a lot of mental health situation right now in the world going on, but a lot of people right away they define themselves, or they identify themselves with their mental illness.
Mhm.
That's like another big part. Like when
Yeah.
you're thinking, you're not your depression, you're not your anxiety. That is
Mhm.
just happening to you, and you can take over and
Mhm.
heal it. It's all about the mindset.
Yeah, definitely. Those are great tips. I think mindset is very powerful for anyone, and people, you're right that people get really intimidated by this whole mindset thing, like, oh, I have to change this, I have to make a drastic change in my life, and it's going to take so long and so much effort. But it's not. You can start with even small things, like you were saying, like with word substitutes, just being aware of your language. It's just a small thing that you can do now. And then over time, as you are ready for the bigger changes, then you go through them. But you can start out small, like right now.
Yeah, 100%. You just have to, when we're looking at like a big thing, it always it brings a slight fear into
Mm-hmm.
us. However, if you look at it day by day, small, consistent steps, always it starts by that. So that small, consistent steps, 5 minutes a day, how many, like, it's gonna compound over the week and over the year, right?
Yeah, small, consistent steps. I love that.
That's all you need. That you just look at your day, take a consistent step, and then do it the next day, then do it the next day.
Mm-hmm.
That way you're not putting a lot of pressure on yourself either.
Definitely. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking some time and talking with
Absolutely.
me. It was such a great conversation. Definitely some stuff that I could think more of. I had never thought of the whole failure. You should do learning curve, so I definitely will be implementing that in my day to
Likewise. It was
day. I'll be very aware.
absolutely, it was my absolute pleasure.
Thank you. Thanks
I
so
wish I could
much.
give you a hug over
Ah,
the
you hug,
air
virtual
hug.
hug. Yeah. Well, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. It was such a great talk.